They called it bulletproof, armored, impenetrable. Security glass designed to stop bullets, withstand explosions, protect 350 million pounds worth of diamonds from anything the world could throw at it. November 7th, 9:30 a.m., Greenwich, London. A yellow JCB digger smashes through steel gates. 4 men in gas masks and body armor charge into the Millennium Dome. Smoke bombs, ammonia, and in their hands, the tools that would expose the lie. A Hilti nail gun and a basic sledgehammer. No lasers, no fancy tech. Just blunt force against the most secure display case money could buy. What happened next proved something the security industry never advertised. Sometimes the simplest tools beat the most expensive defenses. Sometimes a 20-pound hammer cracks what engineers swore was unbreakable. And sometimes the only thing standing between $3 billion in modern engineering and complete failure is dumb luck and 200 cops hiding behind a fake wall, meters high. Inside, the Millennium Experience exhibition. Zones showcasing British achievement, innovation, future dreams. The Money Zone held the prize, De Beers Millennium Diamond Collection. Center stage, the Millennium Star, 203.04 carats, 40.608 grams. D color, the highest grade for colorless stones. Internally and externally flawless, certified by the Gemological Institute of America. Only the second largest known top color flawless pear-shaped diamond in the world. Cut from a 777-carat rough diamond discovered in Mbuji Mai district, Zaire, 1990. De Beers purchased it during the Zairian Civil War. Steinmetz Diamond Group workers spent 3 years cutting it. Lasers, over 100 plastic practice models to test the cut before touching the real stone. Split in Belgium, polished in South Africa, finished in New York. 54 facets in perfect pear form. Valued at 200 million pounds in 2000, 425 million in today's money. Surrounding it, 11 rare blue diamonds totaling 118 carats, all from Premier Mine, South Africa. The entire collection worth 350 million pounds, 744 million today. The display case held these stones. Armored glass. Security industry calls it bulletproof, but that term lies. Glass-clad polycarbonate composite. Multiple layers, glass on the outside. Polycarbonate sheets between, more glass, alternating hard and soft materials. When bullets hit, the outer glass shatters but absorbs energy. Polycarbonate layers catch fragments and slow penetration. Inner glass provides final barrier. Typical high-security museum cases run 34 millimeters thick minimum, weigh 20 kilograms per square meter. This case was thicker. De Beers invested millions in security. Motion detectors, CCTV cameras covering every angle, armed guards on rotation. The glass itself rated to European standard EN 356, levels P 6B through P 8B for burglary resistance. Supposed to withstand repeated axe strikes for 30 seconds or more. Lab tests show professional burglars need at least 1 minute to breach even with proper tools. The marketing promised diamonds safer than gold in Fort Knox. Tim Thorne, head of De Beers Security, later stated the dome was the last place he would have chosen to display the Millennium Star. Too remote. Police too far. East London, historically a hotbed of crime, but marketing demanded spectacle. 12 million visitors expected. The diamonds became the attraction. William Cockram, 47 at the time, from Catford, long history of high-stakes robbery. Terry Millman, 55, South London veteran, fraud and logistics specialist. Lee Wenham, 32, pulled from school at 12 due to dyslexia. Father allegedly a local gangster. Wenham learned crime young. Aldo Karaki, 30. Robert Adams, late 30s, recruited one day before the heist. Previous conviction for stabbing his former best friend after alleged affair with his wife. Kevin Meredith handled the speedboat. James Hurley, 46, from Bermondsey, the planner, nicknamed the boatman by police. These men had experience. Failed jobs taught lessons. Lorry carrying Christmas trees rigged with welded spike as battering ram. Plan, ram the van, grab the cash, flee by boat on the Thames. Execution failed. Keys to the lorry went missing. A motorist they blocked in, angry at the inconvenience, pulled the keys from the lorry ignition and drove off. Gang couldn't use the ram, burned the vehicles, escaped by boat toward Chelsea, left evidence, counterfeit tax discs on vehicles. Words painted on one lorry, Gertie Memke, too persistent, aren't we? July 7th, 2000. Aylesford, Kent. 9 million pound Securicore van raid attempt, same tactics. Lorry with spike, river escape planned, police arrived, gunfire exchanged, gang fled, more evidence left behind. Forensics tied vehicles to 2 remote Kent farms near Maidstone. Tong Farm owned by Lee Wenham. Police recognized the pattern. Meticulous planning, speed, shock. Water escape. Flying squad took interest. August 2000, Kent police identified suspects at various locations. September 1st, 2000, 3 men spotted at Millennium Dome. Lee Wenham, Raymond Betson, William Cockram. Recording video footage of the Money Zone. Filming the diamonds. Filming the river entrance and jetty. Pattern noted. Every visit coincided with high tide on the Thames. Surveillance intensified. More gang members identified. Terry Millman purchased a speedboat. Paid £3,700 cash. Used the name T-Diamond at the yard in Whitstable, Kent. Betson and Cockram filmed testing the speedboat on the Thames. Undercover detective at Dome spotted the suspects. Reported to superiors. One detective joked after reviewing evidence, "Maybe they're after the Millennium Jewels." The comment sparked the investigation focus. Officers disguised as Dome employees. Surveillance in CCTV control room, which became police headquarters. Tong Farm placed under 24-hour watch. Equipment stockpiled there: smoke bombs, body armor, gas masks, sledgehammers, Hilti DX 450 nail gun. The nail gun, powder-actuated fastener tool, uses cartridge strips of 10 powder charges, fires hardened steel nails into concrete, steel, masonry. Construction workers use them to attach brackets, trunking, battens to hard surfaces. Maximum power setting drives nail 16 to 72 millimeters long. Designed to penetrate building materials. Not a weapon in construction terms, but in wrong hands, effective for breaking security glass. Sledgehammers, basic demolition tools, 8 to 20 pounds. Steel head, wooden or fiberglass handle. Swung with full body force, delivers massive blunt trauma. No sophistication, pure kinetic energy transfer. Police watched the gang rehearse, noted the timeline. Estimated 5-minute window from breach to river escape. High tide critical for speedboat navigation. Real Millennium Star moved to De Beers headquarters, central London. Near Livnat, who cut the original diamond, received phone call from De Beers director in September 2000. Intelligence indicated imminent heist. Decision made with authorities to swap stones 2 months before the raid. Livnat created the replica. Tim Thorne, De Beers' security chief, later stated the fakes were extremely good, very hard-pressed to tell they were replicas. Inside the money zone, police installed false wall. 20 officers in full tactical gear waited behind it, firearms concealed. Surveillance officers dressed as cleaners, Dome staff, guns hidden in black bin bags and rubbish bins. November 7th, 2000. Officers briefed at 3 a.m. 200 total officers deployed, 40 from Specialist Firearms Command, SCO 19. 60 armed flying squad officers stationed around Thames. 20 officers in boats on river. CCTV control room operational. Contingency plans reviewed. 24 risk days identified by officials when theft could occur. This was day 24. 4 men inside. Betson driving, Cockram, Giarocchi, Adams, all wearing body armor, gas masks, armed with smoke bombs, ammonia, sledgehammers, Hilti nail gun. Digger rams through perimeter fence, crashes through steel security doors, enters the Dome, parks outside money zone. Giarocchi throws smoke bombs, creates visual chaos. Ammonia deployed, obscures CCTV, intended to contaminate any blood evidence. Cockram and Adams rush to display case. Nail gun raised, first strikes to the glass. Hilti DX 450 set maximum power. Powder charges, fire nails repeatedly, glass cracks, surface fractures, not penetration, but damage accumulating. Then the sledgehammer. Adams swings, full force. 20-pound head meets fractured polycarbonate composite. The engineering truth reveals itself. But bullets are small, energy concentrated in tiny area. Polycarbonate layers designed for that specific threat. Sledgehammers deliver different physics, large impact surface, sustained repeated blows. Glass bursting speed runs 10,000 kilometers per hour, faster than bullet speed of 3,000 kilometers per hour. That speed differential is why layered glass works against projectiles, but blunt force trauma bypasses that advantage. Each sledgehammer strike transfers massive energy across wide surface area. Cracks spread, polycarbonate layers separate, adhesive bonds fail under repeated stress. Security experts know the secret. Armored glass only resists burglary for 30 seconds, in lab conditions with sustained attack. Real world, determined attackers with proper tools breach even 100 millimeter thick armored glass in under 1 minute. The Dome case, though thick, followed same physics. Nail gun weakened structure. Sledgehammer exploited the damage. Glass rated for bullets, not for primitive blunt instruments wielded by desperate men. Betson outside by Digger. Giarocchi in smoke. Adams and Cockram at the case, inches from broken through glass. Hands nearly on fake diamonds. Arrested on spot. 4 men detained inside Dome. Handcuffed on floor. Cockram claimed later an officer assaulted him while cuffed at 9:39 a.m. Sued Metropolitan Police in March 2003. Awarded legal aid. Outside, Kevin Meredith sat in high-powered speedboat at Millennium Pier. Engine running. Ready for getaway. Police in boats apprehended him. Another suspect arrested on north bank of Thames, monitoring police radio frequencies. Terry Millman arrested in van. 6 more suspects arrested next morning. Raids in Horsmondon and Collier Street villages near Maidstone. Lee Wenham's farms searched. Found laundry bags for cash transport. Reflective coats, newspaper, dated August 6th with Millman's fingerprints, shotgun. Cartridges, tabards, Smith & Wesson revolver. Total 7 suspects in custody. 8th man charged later. James Hurley fled before raid. Tracked to Portobanos, Costa del Sol, Spain. Shatford flew to Spain with 3 officers. Emergency warrant for arrest. Undercover operation. Car chase through Portobanos. Hurley apprehended. He had photographed Dome from boats. Organized speedboat purchase. Total 9 suspects. 60 Dome visitors present during raid. No civilians endangered. No shots fired by anyone. One Dome worker, Ozan Okak, told press, "I felt a sense of disbelief. It was like something out of a movie. Someone next to me even asked whether this was part of live entertainment at Dome. North Greenwich Underground Station temporarily closed. Dome reopened to public by noon. Money Zone cordoned off for investigation. Press arrived. Shatford stated to reporters, 'If this had been carried out in accordance with their wishes, this would have been the largest robbery in the world. Scotland Yard believed gang had wealthy Middle Eastern client lined up to receive stones. £350 million haul would have shattered robbery records. Biggest heist in history. But fake diamonds meant zero value. Gang spent tens of thousands planning, months of surveillance. Failed attempts teaching them, and they hit glass cases protecting worthless crystal. Metropolitan Police official case files from Operation Magician, released through Freedom of Information requests, and John Shatford's Dome Raiders, How Scotland Yard. Foiled the greatest robbery of all time, co-written with William Doyle and published detailing primary source surveillance logs and tactical decisions. These aren't surface-level news reports. These are investigators' internal documents, gang member interviews from Netflix's The Diamond Heist Executive, produced by Guy Ritchie, released April 16, 2025, featuring Lee Wenham's first-hand accounts, and trial transcripts from the Old Bailey proceedings starting November 8, 2001. Now, back to the information. Terry Millman died of stomach cancer July 13, 2001, before trial, age 57, in hospice care. Remaining defendants, Raymond Betson, William Cockram, Aldo Ciarrocchi, Robert Adams, Lee Wenham, Kevin Meredith, James Hurley. 8th defendant, Wayne Taylor, 35, from Tonbridge, Kent, freed December 10, 2001. Found not guilty of conspiracy to rob and conspiracy to steal on judge's direction. Trial lasted 3 months. Jury unable to return unanimous verdict. Main contention, distinction between stealing versus robbing. Stealing is taking property. Robbing is taking with force or threat of force. Gang carried no firearms, no shots fired. Sledgehammers and nail gun aren't legally classified as weapons unless used to threaten. Defense argued tools meant for glass, not people. Crown Prosecutor Martin Heslip, QC, stated, "The raid was planned professionally, carefully, and down to the last detail." Jury deliberated nearly 7 court days. December 4th, 2001. Jurors visited empty Dome to see crime scene. Judge Michael Coombe forced to accept majority verdict. Aldo Ciarrocchi, guilty, 15 years prison. Robert Adams, guilty, 15 years prison. Lee Wenham, guilty, 9 years prison for conspiracy to steal and involvement in Aylesford plot. Kevin Meredith, cleared of conspiracy to rob, but guilty of conspiracy to steal, 5 years prison. James Hurley, guilty. Sentence not specified in public records, but substantial. Total sentences, 80 years combined for main defendants. Betson and Cockram, considered leaders, received longest terms. Shatford, now heading Serious Crime Group Northeast London, stated after sentencing, "I'm delighted with the verdict and sentence. They were a ruthless team of criminals. Had it not been for the police, they would have committed the largest robbery ever to take place anywhere in the world." Public opinion split. Some admired the audacity. Others disbelieved such plan could succeed. Media frenzy. Talk of movie deals. Max Clifford, PR agent, speculated on earnings from selling stories to newspapers, potential TV dramas, books, films. There was nobody in the vault, no security workers walking around. He added, "It would have taken a very short time from hitting the main gate to getting back across the Thames, 5 minutes maximum. About the nail gun, bought by gang to break glass in vault, not as weapon. About ammonia, used to contaminate blood traces. About body armor, for protection during post-raid meeting with associates to discuss gem sales, not for the heist itself." Betson claimed at trial his brother-in-law, Michael Waring, police constable working perimeter security at Dome, provided inside information. Betson testified Waring told him about friend named Tony, also working there. Alleged Tony had planned together, had backed her to buy jewelry, said security was crap. Betson claimed, "I had every confidence in him. There was no way I thought he would betray me, not for 2 seconds. If this had come to me from someone else in a pub, I would not have gone along with it, but it was the background to where it had come from. It was solid. I did not think he would try and do me any harm. I trusted." Waring called as prosecution witness, totally denied being part of plan or offering to act criminally. Judge exonerated Waring. Ciarrocchi's 15 years reduced to 12 years in 2004 appeal. Adams served his 15 years, died in prison. Specific date not public record. Wenham served 4 years of 9-year sentence, released early. Post-release, Betson returned to crime. March 2012, attempted robbery at Cash Depot in Swanley, Kent. Used similar tactics. Ram raid approach. Failed. DNA found on balaclava, left at scene. Arrested. August 2014, sentenced to 13 years prison for that attempt. Cherokee and Cockram kept low profiles after release. Meredith has not resurfaced publicly. Wenham participated in Netflix documentary The Diamond Heist, released April 16, 2025. Showed his face, discussed the planning, expressed regret about trusting informants, revealed his daughters were unaware of his crimes until documentary. James Hurley's post-release life not documented in public records. The gang's criminal careers effectively ended by Operation Magician. Next to it, in evidence, the Hilti DX 450 nail gun. Retail price around £300 to £400 new, less if stolen or secondhand. Combined tool cost under £500 total. These cheap instruments nearly defeated £350 million in diamonds protected by millions in security infrastructure. The physics couldn't be argued. Repeated sledgehammer strikes proved glass cases, no matter how advanced, vulnerable to sustained blunt force. Security industry took note. Museums worldwide reassessed display cases, added time delay features, increased guard rotations, installed pressure sensors that trigger before glass breaks. But the fundamental problem remains: armored glass designed for bullets, not hammers. Engineers can make glass harder, but that increases brittleness. Make it thicker, but that increases weight, cost, reduces visibility. Polycarbonate layers help, but can't fully prevent determined attack with right tools. Trade-off between protection and practicality. Estimated value, not disclosed, but replicas well made enough to have collector interest. A real Millennium Star never returned to public display at Dome. De Beers sold it in 2006 to anonymous buyer, believed located in Asia or Middle East. Sale price undisclosed. Some estimates suggest 30 to 50 million pounds, far less than 2,000 valuation due to market conditions and buyer anonymity requirements. The real 11 blue diamonds dispersed to various private collections. De Beers maintained tight control over their location. Heart of Eternity diamond, part of original collection, appeared later in exhibits. Smithsonian Institute, Washington, D.C., 2003. The Splendor of Diamonds exhibit, displayed alongside other famous stones. Steinmetz Pink, now called Pink Dream, Allnet Diamond, Pumpkin Diamond, Moussaieff Red, Ocean Dream. Public fascination with stones that almost got stolen enhanced their legend. Replacement of real targets with fakes to eliminate loss risk. Strategic patience, letting gang enter vault before arrest to secure conspiracy charges and catch them red-handed. No shots fired, despite 200 armed officers in gang and body armor. Perfect execution. Shatford received commendations, later wrote book with William Doyle. Ross Kemp documentary 2020, Millennium Dome Heist with Ross Kemp, detailed 9-month. Cat and mouse game. Discovery Plus series Inside the Heist featured the Raid in first episode. Crime and Investigation Network's Britain's Biggest Heists series ran episode with CCTV footage, undercover police recordings. Guy Ritchie executive produced Netflix 3-part documentary series The Diamond Heist, released April 16, 2025. Chris Hollington's book Diamond Geezers became a Sunday Times bestseller. Wondery Podcast British Scandal Season 62 covered story over 4 episodes in 2025. Final episode containing Lee Wenham interview. May 31st, 2005. Renamed the O2 after telecommunications firm paid £6 million yearly for naming rights. Renovated into entertainment venue, Bon Jovi opened June 24th, 2007 with sellout concert. John Bon Jovi stated, "Good evening, London, England. Welcome to your brand new house." This is called the O2, and the way I'm judging the crowd out here, who the hell needs Wembley Stadium? Venue thrived. Concerts, sports events, conventions. Money Zone, where diamonds sat displayed, became backstage area. No plaques marked the location. Security improved. 2012 Olympics used O2 for gymnastics and basketball events. Venue capacity, 20,000 for concerts. Became one of the world's highest grossing music venues. The failed heist became its most famous story, better publicity than any Millennium celebration. Physics and security intersect uncomfortably. Engineers design for known threats. Bullets follow predictable physics. Explosives have blast patterns. Cutting tools require time, noise. Sledgehammers seem primitive, too obvious. But obvious isn't useless. A 20-pound steel head, swung by strong adult, generates over 1,000 pounds force on impact. Concentrated in surface area of hammerhead. Armored glass layers designed to distribute bullet energy across entire pane fail against localized repeated massive strikes. Each hit weakens adhesive bonds between glass and polycarbonate layers. Fractures spread from impact points. Material fatigue accumulates. 10 strikes might not break through, 20 might, 30 will. Industry knows this. The testing standards. EN 356 specify 30 seconds. Sustained attack resistance for highest. Ratings, 30 seconds. That's the honest benchmark. In real world, attackers get more time if guards are slow or absent. Dome case had guards, but also 200 cops waiting. Gang had maybe 2 minutes total before arrest. They got through outer layers. Reports suggest glass was cracking through when police intervened. Another 30 seconds, and they're touching diamonds, fake or not. The simple tools worked. Every museum security director studied this case. British Museum, Louvre, Smithsonian, Hermitage, all reassessed. Added innovations. Pressurized display cases that trigger alarms before glass breaks. Laminated layers with embedded sensors detecting vibration patterns. Thicker cases, 60 to 80 millimeters for highest value items. Armed guard proximity requirements, rapid response protocols. Motion sensors with AI analysis detecting attack patterns. Bulletproof glass remains misnomer, now called bullet-resistant glass in honest industry documents. Same for hammer-resistant. Nothing is proof. Everything is resistance. Time delay is goal. Keep attackers busy long enough for response. Millennium Dome proved response matters more than barrier. Best glass in world means nothing without cops hiding behind walls ready to pounce. Betson and Cockram had the tools, had the plan, had the surprise. Lost because 200 officers already there. Security is layered. Physical barriers by time. Guards and response teams close windows. Intelligence prevents attempts before they start. Operation Magician succeeded at every layer, but glass still cracked, hammer still worked. Physics doesn't lie. Betson's current status, serving 13-year sentence for 2012 depot robbery attempt, eligible for release around 2025 or later, depending on parole. Would be mid-60s by release. Cockram's status, released after serving reduced sentence, keeps low profile, no known public activity since. Hiraki's status, released after serving reduced sentence, no known recent criminal activity reported. Wenham's status, released after serving 4 years of 9-year sentence, lives quietly, participated in Netflix documentary, attempting to rebuild relationship with family. Daughters featured in documentary expressing shock at father's criminal past. Meredith's status, released after 5-year sentence, no public record of whereabouts or activity. Hurley's status, released after sentence, no public documentation. Adams deceased in prison. Millman deceased before trial. The Diamond Geezers dispersed. Legacy remains. Shatford retired from Metropolitan Police, wrote book, consulted on documentaries. Flying Squad continues operations, now part of Central Specialist Crime Division, still investigates serious organized acquisitive crime, armed robberies, pavement ambushes. Tactics refined by Operation Magician still taught to new recruits. Undercover officer integration, surveillance coordination, informant management, strategic patience, letting crimes develop enough for solid charges. New generation learns the story. Social media discussions debate whether gang could have escaped if police hadn't known. Consensus, no. Even with real diamonds, fence network for £350 million, stones impossible. Too famous, too recognizable. Middle Eastern buyer claim never verified. More likely gang hope to break up stones, sell piecemeal. But 203.04 carat flawless pear-shaped D-color diamond has unique GIA certification. Can't be sold legally. Black market value drops 90% or more. 11 blue diamonds, similarly traceable. Gangs plan flawed beyond just police surveillance. Even successful theft nets may be 10 to 20% of stated value in reality. 35 to 70 million pounds if fence found. Still massive score. But divided among 9 gang members under 10 million each. After costs, probably 5 million each. Life-changing but not mega rich. 18-year prison sentence for 5 million pounds. Not worth it in mathematics. Career criminals often bad at math. Engineers specified glass rated for extreme threats. Marketing told public diamonds safer than anywhere on Earth. 2 men with sledgehammer and nail gun cracked it in under 2 minutes. Only reason they failed? Police already knew. Remove police surveillance. Gang possibly succeeds at breaking glass. Grab stones, out through hole into digger. 30 seconds to river. Speedboat waiting, engine running. High tide for fast exit. Down Thames. 5 minutes total from breach to water. Plan wasn't stupid. Plan accounted for police response time from nearest station. What plan couldn't account for? 200 cops already inside. That's the only difference between failure and potential success. Security glass didn't stop them. Police did. Physical barrier failed. Human intelligence succeeded. Every security professional knows this truth, but few advertise it. Locks keep honest people honest. Serious criminals bypass locks. Only way to stop serious criminals. Better intelligence, faster response, more aggressive preemptive action. Sledgehammer proves it. Glass provides psychological barrier even if physical barrier is limited. Cameras capture faces even if can't prevent action. Alarms buy seconds. Those seconds matter. Millennium Dome taught refinement, not abandonment. Better glass formulations, thicker layers, embedded sensors, faster alarms, more guards, better training. Smarter placement, High-value items in central vaults with controlled access, not near external walls where diggers can ram. Defense in depth. But Sledgehammer still works. Hammer is older technology than glass. Human been swinging heavy objects at hard surfaces for thousands of years. It's primal, effective, cheap. 20 pounds of steel, wooden handle. 15 to 30 pounds cost. That's the beautiful, ugly truth. Most sophisticated security defeated by oldest tool in human arsenal. Betson and Cockrum knew. They bought the nail gun for precision, the sledgehammer for brutality. Combination approach, sophisticated and primitive together. It worked. Glass cracked, they were through. Only reason they're in prison, cops already there. Without Operation Magician, we're talking about greatest robbery in history instead of greatest failed robbery. Crime Museum at New Scotland Yard, formerly Black Museum, established 1875, contains artifacts from major UK crimes. One display case holds items from Operation Magician. The sledgehammer, the Hilti DX 450 nail gun, a replica of Millennium Star used in the Sting, gas masks worn by raiders, photographs of JCB Digger tearing through dome wall, aerial surveillance photos of gang testing speedboat. Scotland Yard used Crime Museum for police training, showing how criminals operate, how investigations succeed. Museum closed to public, only accessible to police, visiting law enforcement, occasional researchers. Items carefully preserved. Sledgehammer shows wear on head from impacts. Handle intact. No blood. No damage, except where steel hit armored glass repeatedly. Tool did its job. In evidence log, it's listed as Exhibit 17-B, Sledgehammer, 8-pound model, manufacturer unknown, likely purchased from standard hardware retailer. No special modifications. Used by Robert Adams during attempted theft on November 7, 2000 at Millennium Dome, Greenwich, London. Boring description for object that nearly made history. 200 million pounds minimum coverage on Millennium Star alone. 350 million total for collection. Premiums paid based on security assessments. De Beers provided comprehensive security plans. Lloyd's approved. When heist attempt happened, Lloyd's investigators reviewed everything, found De Beers acted responsibly, replaced real stones with fakes before attempt, cooperated fully with police. No payout required since nothing stolen. But if stones had been stolen, if Operation Magician didn't exist, Lloyd's faced largest payout in history, would have investigated every detail, found security glass failed under sledgehammer attack, potentially refused full payout, claiming inadequate security despite prior approval. Insurance industry studied case, realized armored glass claims needed revision. Policies now explicitly state glass provides time delay only, not absolute protection. Require armed guard presence, alarm response under 3 minutes, police coordination for high-value items. Millennium Dome created new insurance standards. Betson and Cockrum's sledgehammer changed how Lloyd's writes policies. Criminals rarely think their failures will reshape industries. Usually they just go to prison. These criminals went to prison and rewrote security insurance. Police internal memos from September 2000. One memo, written by surveillance officer after spotting Betson and Cockrum at Dome, stated, subjects exhibited extreme confidence in location security weaknesses. Recorded detailed video of display case angles. Measured approximate distances from exit routes to river access. Behavior suggests intent to exploit physical security gaps using direct force methods. Assessment. Subjects believe they can breach display case within 120 seconds using manual tools. Recommend immediate consultation with De Beers security on case resistance to sustained blunt force attack. Officer's name redacted. But assessment proved correct. Surveillance officer watched the gang, understood their plan, reported it upchain. That report triggered fake diamond swap. That report put 20 officers behind false wall. That report changed outcome. One surveillance officer's memo, buried in files for 17 years, shows exactly how close gang came. Police believed gang could breach case in 120 seconds. Reality, gang was through in approximately 110 seconds when arrests happened. 10-second margin. Memo writer deserves recognition for accuracy. Got promoted later according to personnel records. Now retired. Lives quietly somewhere in England. Probably watches documentaries about the heist he helped stop. Knows his memo saved 350 million pounds. Never gets named. That's police work. Do job. File report. Go home. Case solved. No glory, just salary and pension. Millennium Dome sentence, long finished. Most of adult life behind bars. If released on schedule, he'll be late 60s. What does he think about? Alone in cell? The JCB tearing through steel doors? The smoke-filling money zone? Cockrum and Adams hammering the glass, cracks spreading almost through? The moment cops emerged from fake wall, guns drawn, shouting commands? Realization hitting. They knew. They were already here. The diamonds are fake. Months of planning, tens of thousands spent. Failed attempts teaching lessons. Final attempt perfect execution. An informant sold them out. Intelligence beat planning. 200 cops beat 4 criminals. Betson had the sledgehammer, had the plan, had the nerve. Lost because someone talked. In prison, that's the lesson. Not about glass, not about hammers, about trust. Someone talked. Always someone talks. The man who trusted his brother-in-law learned trust costs freedom. Cockram trusted Betson's inside information. Wenham trusted the gang's loyalty. Millman died before learning the outcome. Adams died in prison, never seeing freedom again. All because someone, somewhere in the network, talked to police. Flying Squad got intelligence in summer 2000. Before September, surveillance even started, they knew something was coming. Someone gave them names. Someone pointed them toward Kent Farms. Someone whispered about diamonds at Dome. That someone stayed silent while gang got 18-year sentences. That someone possibly got paid, possibly got reduced charges on different crime. Possibly just walked away clean while gang rotted in cells. The sledgehammer cracked the glass. The informant cracked the gang. Steel hits glass, glass breaks, physics wins. Humans complicate everything. Bring doubt, bring betrayal, bring police surveillance and fake diamonds and 9-month operations ending in arrests seconds before success. If the story ended at the physics, we'd say Sledgehammer beats bulletproof glass, case closed, security industry pack up and go home. But story never ends at physics, ends at humans. The human who designed inadequate security. The human who informated on the gang. The human who planned Operation Magician. The humans who swung the sledgehammer with conviction they'd succeed. The humans who emerged from fake wall with guns, ending the attempt. The humans who sentenced them to decades in prison. The humans who write documentaries, books, podcasts about it 24 years later. Humans remembering that November 7th, 2000, 9:30 a.m. At Greenwich, a basic sledgehammer nearly achieved the impossible and only didn't because humans on the other side played the longer game. Security isn't about glass. Security is about humans outsmarting humans, outweighting humans, outplanning humans. The sledgehammer is evidence in crime museum. The criminals are in prison or dead or hiding. The diamonds are scattered to private collections. The Dome is now the O2, hosting concerts, erasing history with entertainment. And somewhere in Scotland Yard archives, a memo from September 2000 sits in a file, proving one surveillance officer understood exactly what would happen before it happened, wrote it down, got it right, saved a fortune, got a promotion, retired, and nobody knows his name. That's the real story, not the hammer, the humans.